Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel for another long overdue F1 23 video. And yeah, we are here today for a special one. We're here in Britain for WOR, an esports invitational that these guys are very kindly putting on at the end of season 15. And yeah, we are here today in the F1 World Cars, as you can see by the Golf livery we've got on. Reason for that being, at the time of racing and streaming, the equal cars are not truly completely equal in terms of their hitboxes and stuff like that. So we are having to compete in the F1 World Car, so it is completely fair and equal for everyone, which is fair enough. So we are here today in Britain, and yeah, I'll be honest, coming into it, we weren't feeling too confident. Had very limited practice due to just not being able to get on the rig until about an hour and a half or so before the race. So yeah, haven't got a great feeling, as we haven't driven here since the official WOR round here. I think it was in July, if I'm not mistaken. And the pace has moved on a lot since then, as you would expect. I think a good lap time around here these days is 24.1 or 24.2 if you're looking for pole position. And yeah, that certainly wasn't in the locker coming into this. That wasn't even our PB, so yeah, we're going to have to try and do the best we can on the day and see where we can stick on the grid and try and move up the order in the race. But yeah, naturally, knowing you're a little bit on the back foot is never a good feeling heading into a qualifying session. And we have a short qualifying session today, so we essentially have 3 laps to try and perform to our maximum and see what we can get out of this race. But yeah, we've got an opportunity here to have some fun, and hopefully we can have a good one heading into qualifying. So without further ado, we are coming to the end of the first lap, and we come across the line for a 124.6. And yeah, I think you can see by our reaction,
pace is about as good as I thought.
Too happy with that, but not exactly surprised either.
Yeah, really good.
Well, you're not last.
Well, yeah, there's always that, I suppose.
And yeah, it may sound like we're joking, but that genuinely is like kind of the expectation coming into this race. We genuinely do not expect to be up the top with the limited preparation we've had. But heading on to the end of our second lap here, second chance out of the 3, coming around the last corner now, a little bit sketchy off the except the last proper corner here in Silverstone, and it is 124.4. We're still lacking just over a tenth of a second to the likes of Otis Lawrence up at the top, who's been super quick on this game in general, but especially around Silverstone, taking pole position in this track. This time 3 months ago when WR last visited. But now we are gearing up to start our final lap. It's do or die here, because as it's such a high-speed circuit and one of the highest speed circuits on the calendar, the grid is going to be super close in the final qualifying time order. So we really need to perform here, or we may end up losing quite a few spots. So trying to get a good exit of turn 4, which we do not. We get a bit of a snap through entry here, and we're a little bit delayed opening the DRS, so that is already not a great start to our lap. We're about even with our previous best, but I think we did leave a decent chunk on the table, and I think we're running slightly lower downforce than the likes of Otis Lawrence and Danny Beresnay. So I think our main advantage in that sector 1 has been eradicated slightly there, so we're going to have to try and make the difference where we can in the driving and hit through these high-speed corners where we will not have the advantage. Otis Lawrence goes to the top with a 124.2, and we are absolutely hooking up Magnus, Beckers and Chapel there. That felt pretty much perfect. We're going purple to the middle sector, but now this is where the additional downforce may be counting against us in this final sector. We're currently P5, so we have to hook up this last couple of corners and hope it sticks. We're a little bit deep on the brakes there, getting the car rotated a little bit better than the previous time. Up to the line, what's it going to be? It's a 124.256, and we miss out on pole by just half a tenth, and that was genuinely our PB. But yeah, just looking at the lap, it looked like there was even more available. It would have been a push to try and beat Otis, but I think
16.
it was probably there. But wasting no time now,
that, like, at the end of
heading
lap
into the
16,
race. We're going to be starting on the hard tyres,
and he
along with
finished
the vast majority of the field, it seems.
P9.
So yeah, looking for the 5 red lights now, and it's lights out and away we go. A super quick launch.
P8. He finished P8.
Get a slightly worse launch than Otis off the line, but in the second phase we do make it a little bit back, tucking in behind here. And we're just going to defend the middle of the track from Danny Bresnay here, not really trying to move on Otis just yet. Settling behind nicely, not giving Danny an option to try and throw it up the inside. And we consolidate our position on the track.
Everyone around me went hard.
And yeah, we're just checking with our engineers that to make sure of everyone's strategy, no one go for something crazy.
Good start anyway.
But
That'll do.
yeah, what we
Soft run up into
see
P5.
here, Rishan Jacobs jumps up into P5 on that soft compound tyre, so he's going to be one to deal with in the very, very near future, as he will be very, very fast in the early part of this race. But he's not our problem right now. He'll come into it a bit later on with getting that undercut naturally, having to pit early off that soft compound tyre. And as our engineer confirms,
apart from P4,
there are 5 soft compound runners in the
14,
field right
15,
now.
18,
So
19.
there'll be competition to deal with later when they
P5.
inevitably undercut us.
Yeah,
But
closest,
hopefully
soft runner
we'll
is
have the better
Rishan.
pace and the fresher tyres to try and cut through them later.
One is third.
But as you can see, Rishan Jacobs, jumps up into
Everyone
P3,
else does.
passing Danny Bresnay with ease. And yeah, we are not concerned about him right now. He's on a completely different strategy, and
Rishan's
yeah, I'm not going to burn my own battery to try and
DRS.
defend from someone who we're not really in a race with right now. Obviously, if it comes to it later, we will battle him hard, but for now, we're going to try and play it smart. Even if it's a social or an esports invitation, whatever you want to call it, we are going to treat it like an official esports race.
I need to get myself into the race because.
And as you can see here, Rishan, keep him butchering his name, so sorry, is now passing us on the inside into Brooklands here, and we open the door, let him go. And yeah, hopefully he can get up into the lead past Otis and try and pull this trail along, increase the pace, and yeah, potentially have others wasting battery trying to keep up. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, heading into this one, we did very, very limited practice, and the practice we did was all in qualifying. So yeah, we're learning as we go, and as you can probably see here, taking several stabs through the fast corners, completely just not in tune with the race car right now, as Rishan Jacobs takes the lead of the Grand Prix here at the end of lap 2. But yeah, we're just gonna have to try and tune ourselves in to the race as we go, because we have done absolutely 0 laps of race practice, which seems to be a trend with me. But yeah, we're just here for a bit of fun and to see what we can do. So we're happy to chill here for a bit as Rishan sets the fastest lap of the race. But Istvan, the newly announced Ferrari Esports driver, is now setting purple lap times, as he is also on the soft tyres, coming through the field with Barry Burman, who all of the Ferrari guys, including them and Nicholas Longo, decided to start at the back of the grid. Unfortunately, I think Nico got caught up in an early first lap incident, so it's just those two coming through together. And as you can see, midway through lap 4, Istvan is now up into the top 5, with Otis Lawrence taking back the lead. So it may look like potentially the best of the soft tyres have been used by these guys. But yeah, skipping on to lap 5 now. They're still holding stern, but we kind of want to get past Rishan here. It's a little bit wide of the apex through Chapel. So I see my opportunity here. Burn a little bit of battery in the slipstream, DRS open, and we are going to try and get up the inside. But he does have the slipstream from Otis Lawrence. Otis is going to cover the middle of the track. We're going to dive down the inside here, because essentially we just had nowhere else to go. I wanted to make that move on Rishan. Maybe a bit of an unnecessary risk, as Rishan shows his nose there, but nothing doing on the brakes. And yeah, that was quite a big risk for 5 laps into the race, but it paid off. We got the move done, and now we are settled in behind Otis Lawrence, and we have got a 7/10 gap to the likes of Rishan. So we're going to try and take the lead here, see if there's an opportunity to try and break the DRS of those guys behind, but go super wide through Stowe, which is not going to help our efforts whatsoever. And as much as I'd like to break the DRS to those guys, I'm not looking to burn a whole lot of my batteries. Still got well over 80% here. So we'll see what we can do on the natural pace. But the gap is staying pretty sensible, pretty stable. And as we're going to let Otis Lawrence go here, doing a little bit of DRS swapping, we're not going to be able to drop these guys. The DRS is so powerful. And around a high-speed track like this, it's going to be very difficult to make that difference on tyre delta. So, yeah, as you can see, Danny Bresnay moves himself up into the top 3 here. And as you'll be able to see, the 2 Ferrari boys, if you look at the bottom left, Istvan Pukki and Barry Burland are going to pit together, and they are going to try and undercut the whole field and work together to the end of the race, which is definitely a strategy on this game. It's so powerful, as we saw in Brazil as well, in the Invitational they had there in PSGO, I believe. It was very powerful. And the following lap, Rishan Jacobs responds on those soft tyres to jump into the pits, and they will now put on the hard tyres, I believe, to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Or maybe even the mediums. I think the mediums actually, forget that. But now we are on to lap 14, and Otis Lawrence has now started to burn a bit of the battery.
Oh no, he actually is. Yeah, he's burning
as you can
now.
hear from the confirmation from my engineer. So it is now approaching our time to pit, and we kind of want to burn a little bit with him, stay close, and even try and overtake him here, trying to get into the pits, because track position is absolutely critical around the pit stop window. So we're going to try and stay as close as we can, but yet again, I think, I don't know, we're struggling a little bit in the high-speed corners compared to these guys, so trying to stay close through the lights of Magnus Becker's Chapel to try and make a move onto the hangar straight might prove difficult, but we'll see what we can do right at the back of Otis Lawrence here, heading through the old turn 1, and we are confirming that we're going to box this lap with the engineer. And unfortunately we have to take a couple of stabs through Magnus and Beckett's, and that has lost us a little bit of time, so we're now dumping the battery. We are set on pitting this lap. Otis Lawrence goes defensive into Stowe, holds that position well, and we're going to have to stay behind here, but we are still going to commit to the box, as does he. And now we're just going to have to make sure we don't hit the back of him, make sure we don't speed. He absolutely crosses up the car, tried to slow it down. That was quite a sight to see. But yeah, the issue here with the F1 World Cars, you don't know before coming to the race, if there's a lobby restart, which there was, where your pit box is going to be. And unfortunately, we are in the first or one of the first pit boxes, and we get held in the pits. And as we say there, we're going to lose Otis. You can see the gap there as he's going to accelerate out of the pits. We are going to lose his DRS and potentially track position to others around us where he might not. But as we'll see, those who have undercut us from the train are going to jump us. We've got 3 cars between myself and Otis when we were literally on his tail, heading into the pits. So that's really unfortunate, and it's going to make our life that little bit harder, trying to come through the field. But now we've just got to get on with it. We are right up behind Ismail Fassi here, heading on to the start of lap 16. We are all over the back of him, and we've got to make this move, and we've got to make these moves, plural, stick as quickly as possible. So we're going to make, it's no time about it, dive down the inside of turn 3, easy move done there. And now we have, I'm not going to try and pronounce that name, we've got Kian up ahead of us, I think, an up-and-coming lead racer here, potentially from PlayStation, but I could be absolutely lying when I say that. But yeah, so we've got a couple of cars in between us and Otis.
A lap fresher.
And we've got Istvan and Bari.
How far are they from Otis?
About 2.8 seconds up the road. As our engineer will confirm here.
2.8 seconds.
So,
but Pookie gets a 5 second penalty for speeding.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I want to catch them.
Yeah, as we make absolutely clear here, we want to catch those guys on track. But we have a little bit of work to do now. But we do have the fresher tyres. We do have that advantage. And heading through now to turn 3 on lap 17, we're going to dive down the inside once again and make another lovely move stick through on the inside. Kian leaves us the room, so respect for that.
Lovely move.
And we are now up into net P5. Now we've caught up to the back of Rishan who I believe pitted at the end of lap 12, if I'm not mistaken. So a couple laps older tyres than us, and we're going to make pretty light work of him here. He hasn't got a strong slipstream like he did the previous time we went side by side with him into Stowe, and he doesn't put up too much of a fight, and we are now up into provisional P4. As you can see, Isfan having that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits, but as I said to our engineers, I couldn't care less about beating someone with a penalty. I want to beat them on track as well, and the pace is looking good enough. Otis has broken that 2.8 second gap down to about 6/10, and now he's got the DRS. We've got the DRS on him. So, skipping on to the midway through of lap 19, we are starting to close that gap down, and a huge amount through here. This fan is absolutely backing up Otis through the Magnus Backes and Chapel section, and they are going to battle now, heading into Stowe. He's going to have to try and get as much slipstream as possible off his teammate Bari Burmand, and he holds on for now, but he has to go defensive heading into the last couple of corners. Otis is going to try it around the outside. We're going to set up the switchback, and we have our very own through goes Hamilton moment here, up into P2, 2 for the price of 1, and that was a golden opportunity that we had to take.
Jesus, nice.
And yeah, the engineers enjoyed that, so appreciate the hype. But now heading on to lap 21, we are all over the back, pressuring Bari Burmand here, trying to fake a move into turn 3, but he doesn't buy the bait. And now we are going to make light work of him now, heading into turn 6 at Brooklands. We've got a DRS, we've got 60% battery, but we don't need to use any of that. We've got more than enough overspeed here, heading into Brooklands. But Otis Lawrence dives on the inside and actually clips the side of us here. And that could have been race ending. It didn't look like a huge moment in the car, but yeah, I got a fair amount of feedback through the wheel. I had to catch it.
Bresnay, I think.
And unfortunately, Danny Bresnay got spun round by Isfan Pookie as they were going side by side through that section as well. So it's all starting to kick off with 5 laps to go here. And Bari is all over the back of us, despite having 3 lap older tyres. We just cannot drop these guys. The DRS is so powerful around here, the DRS usage, and there's very little in the way of dirty air on this game, so that's why you end up with huge DRS trains. Yeah, we are. You can see when we hook up a good section of corners, we do have that raw advantage in grip. We've built a 6/10 gap off the end of that lap. So if we can keep on doing that, try and keep our distance from these guys, we may have a chance. But it's just, even if you're this far ahead, heading on to the last straight, it is going to be very difficult when we don't have DRS to try and defend. But now we are on to the second to last lap of the race. Bari's picked up a 3-second penalty whilst battling with Otis. I think in a proper league race that would have been removed. So essentially this is still on track for the win between myself, Bari, Otis. Now Alvaro Carreton has joined into the battle from the back of the grid too. So the cream is rising to the top now, and as you can see, Otis is burning the batteries, forcing Bari to burn as well.
30%.
But now he's in a little bit of a tricky situation. As we say with some French, we are in a sticky situation now, heading into the end of the Grand Prix, because we are the first car on track when we really don't want to be honest. It's a very vulnerable position to be in with how powerful the DRS is, and we are just 2 tenths ahead of Bari Burmand. And I think heading onto this straight, they're going to be making light work of us, as Otis is only 3 tenths behind as well. And we may end up losing not 1 but 2 positions here, so we're going to burn our battery and hold the inside line, see what Bari chooses to do. He's going to choose to stay behind us actually, and Otis is going to try and make the move around the outside of Stowe. Does he make it stick? He is side by side with the Ferrari Esports man. They're going to go side by side once again into these last couple of corners. Otis deep on the brakes, and we have an opportunity here. Whilst they're battling, we are going to absolutely burn the battery for the last lap. We have 50% to use starting this last lap. Otis has about 20, now 10, and we have a slim hope of trying to hold on no matter how powerful this DRS and slipstream is. We do not have any time advantage over Otis. We are going to have to make this happen in terms of the driving. and we're breaking the slipstream. We're doing everything we can to try and hold on to this victory.
5%, 4%.
He's got absolutely no battery left now, essentially, and we've still got 30%. So now, through this middle sector, is an opportunity to really grow that gap, to make sure he doesn't have any kind of slipstream heading on to the hangar straight and that final DRS zone. The gap is now 6.5 tenths, almost 7 tenths, heading through the old turn 1 at Cops.
He's on 0.
And he's got absolutely no battery. We're running ourselves. But now, I think, as long as we don't make a mistake through these fast corners, which we don't, we do that very, very nicely, actually. We're going to burn our battery. And as long as a meteorite doesn't hit us throughout the sky or anything untoward happen, we are going to win this race now. Barry Burmand makes the move on Otis Lawrence on the final lap of the race. Those guys are going to go battling into the last couple of corners. But now, it is all the focus on us. Don't mess it up now. 1 corner to go. And we are very, very happy about that. Across the line, we win the British Grand Prix.
Give me that.
Alvaro Caraton follows us home in P2. Last moment move on Otis Lawrence there, who completes the podium.
Well done.
So GG's to them.
I'm
Great
sweaty.
battle through the race.
Clinical. That was absolutely clinical.
So yeah, really, really enjoyed that one. And yeah, you can tell by my reaction, a big sense of relief. Very, very pleased about the result there, because yeah, it may be a social or an esports invitational, but yeah, we've not been able to show our pace or our performance as much as we like. It's always been there on this game, and finally be able to show that against still a very high quality grid. There's about half the grid is still esports or academy esports, with the rest being filled with top level league races. So yeah, I cannot complain with that. But yeah, that was pretty much a race. Super enjoyable one. Thank you for WR for putting that one on and inviting me along. And yeah, that's been it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, and peace.